Welcome back guys, welcome back. More Mini Z FPV shenanigans today. So if you watched the last video, you'll know that I fitted an FPV camera to my Mini Z, my little R8. So I fitted the DJI Air unit last time, which is a digital FPV, HD FPV, and it obviously can work with the DJI system. Now it was a bit over the top, the system was just too big. I had to have an external LiPo on there to power it. So what I thought I'd try next was fitting the smaller FPV digital system, which is called the Caddx Vista. This is, you know, mainly designed for kind of small racing drones. So it's a lot lighter, a lot more compact. You haven't got the onboard storage. I couldn't figure out how to actually get that to work without having it connected to a drone in the normal way. Anyway, so less antennas on here. You haven't got the diversity system, but it is a lot smaller. I did try and fit this inside. At one point I had it just in this back window here, and it kind of made it look like it had a little bit of an engine in the back there, but I couldn't get the top back on. I couldn't get the body shell. It was just the right faff. So I think if you want to do this, you might be able to do this with, you know, like cars that have got a bigger kind of area inside. But the R8 is a very sleek looking car. Now, I know it kind of ruins the look of the car, and that's the whole point of Mini Zs, they look so blooming good. But for the purposes of FPV, especially this high resolution digital setup, there isn't anything smaller as of yet. So that's where the technology is right now. That is the smallest system you can get, that is a digital HD, you know, that works with the DJI goggles, which are just insane, so immersive. So hopefully in time to come, they will actually scale things down even more, and then we can actually get stuff inside the car. That would be, you know, the ultimate dream. Anyway, so I've got it fitted on here. It's just stuck on the top with, you know, adhesive so it can be taken off easy. You might notice these two wires here. So before I had a LiPo on the side, which just you know, added so much weight, it actually pushed the suspension down. The car drove brilliantly actually, but you know, it's just not ideal. So what I've gone and done is connected this inside the car to the main batteries. So obviously these things run on AAAs, and yeah, so it actually runs from the power of the car, which is good. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's obviously going to affect run time, all that sort of thing. But let's have a look inside and I'll show you what I've done. So you see here, I've connected it to the positive and negative main battery terminals here. Now, I had to dig around with a multimeter to find out exactly which one's which. You'll notice here as well, I've got a lithium-ion battery in here. There's another one tucked in there. So that's the next test. I did find that when the AAA batteries, if you use AAA, you know, nickel metal hydrides, I did find that when they ran down probably to about 50%, the air unit, not the air unit, the Caddx Vista would kind of shut down, and it caused all sorts of problems where the car stopped responding and all that sort of stuff. So I've decided to kind of go to lithium-ion batteries straight away to try and sort of mitigate that problem, just so that the voltage is a bit higher. I haven't tested this out yet. I've literally just done this morning. I've stuck some new tyres on as well, just to get a bit more grip on this kind of wooden surface that we've got going on over here. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you something interesting about fitting lithium-ion batteries to here as well. Because obviously it's not completely straightforward. You can't just put 4 lithium-ion batteries in because the voltage is so high, it will just, you know, blow the thing to smithereens, probably. But you can run 2. So I grabbed these 10440 batteries from Amazon. There's not very many of these around actually at the moment. There's not very many different types I could find locally. Anyway, you could probably find loads from China. They are 350 milliamp hours, 3.7 volt lithium ion. Now, these cells are the same size as an AAA, despite what anyone else will tell you. And I've found lots of information saying that they're slightly smaller. I don't know if that's to just, you know, they're saying this just to stop people from putting them in, you know, AAA stuff. Because if you put this in AAA stuff, like if you put it in a torch or something with 2, you're probably going to blow it up, because these are 3.7 volts and normal nickel metal hydrides are only 1.2. So 2 of these, when they're fully charged, is 8.4 volts. These cars do handle that. I mean, mine hasn't blown up yet, so so they're basically the same size. So that's the nickel metal hydride. That is the Speedhouse Kyosho battery. and that is the GS Power lithium ion battery. Now the main difference obviously is, you know, you get higher voltage but you get less capacity. So these are 350 milliamp hours. Who knows if that's true, whereas these are 700, I think. No, it says these are minimum 750 milliamp hours. So, you know, you get less capacity, higher voltage. Maybe that will kind of equate to similar kind of runtime because you're higher voltage, you run less current, but in reality, you know, that's what the math says. But because ultimately the power goes up, a bit more voltage, you know, it depends how things are regulated inside the car, but normally they'll just run out quicker. I know this from experience with other stuff. If you look inside the car there, you'll see I've actually got a bit of precariously placed wire in there, and that is to make up the space where another battery would fit. So in these cars there's 2 batteries either side, 4 in total. 4 times 1.5 gives you 6 volts, and they're all linked in series. Now they do it a weird way in this car. It goes positive, negative, like you'd expect, but on the other side they actually kind of go over to this side next and then back to there. So you can see here you've got these batteries here actually go the same way around, which doesn't make logical sense because you'd sort of go, you know, positive, negative, but they're actually both the same way around. So that kind of screwed with my head a little bit. I was like, hang on, how does that work? So if you're going to do this, you have to put a lithium ion battery in there. You have to bridge this gap between this one here, see the wire in there, or use a dummy AA battery, which I would recommend doing, but not rather than using wire. I've got those coming. And then your other battery goes in here, because that's where your negative is, and the negative is actually going to that wire there. And then you would put a dummy in this side as well. Do that and it'll work. Don't do it like that and it'll probably either not work or it'll smoke. So be really careful. All these cars are probably different. I don't know, this is my first little delving into it. I think the buggy is different, but anyway, we'll see. So we'll shove the dummy wire in this side, and then that enables the whole system to turn on. Unfortunately at the moment I haven't got any way of disconnecting this. I might put a connector on this at some point. It needs to have a switch really, because when the car's on or the car's off, you know, that will still be on. The FPV unit will still be on. So the only way to sort of turn it on and off, the whole system on and off really, in one go is to stick your final jumper battery in there, and that will just turn everything on. So what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to wait till the AAA kind of jumper batteries, or, you know, dummy batteries. Dummy batteries are just literally just a straight through connection, so just like putting a bit of wire in there. So I'm going to test it out on the new track, work in progress, but these little corner pieces have turned up today. Ultimately they're going to end up on the gym mats and everything else, but and I've also got the new rear tyres, so we're going to see exactly what what this runs like. Now before we do, just quickly, one note about this system. I've actually turned the power down. You can actually turn the power up and down on this air unit, the output power to its lowest setting, because we're only, you know, we're not going to be very far away from the system at all. That will help preserve battery life. Also, I've turned thermal management off, which might sound like, you know, why would you do that? But actually what that does is, on drones you have a thing called pit mode, where it will run very, very low power until you arm your drone. And, you know, because this did actually come from another drone that I've got, it was in that particular mode. It was set up in that mode. So your output power is really, really, really low. In the pit mode, it like goes down to like a couple of milliwatts or something. So you end up with blocky video even if you just go into the next room or something. So that's something to bear in mind. Turn throttle management off, temperature management off, and you do that in the goggles through the goggle menu, and then you'll actually, you know, you can set whatever power you want. Hopefully it won't get too warm. It's going to have air passing over it. That's one thing about obviously not having it inside the car. But yeah, anyway, enough chat, let's go. Right, I don't know what the run time's going to be like on this, so we'll find out. We'll just see if it works. Yeah, here we go again. All right, ready to go, guys. I love this. Whoa, it does seem, it's a bit lighter. Yeah, it drives differently. Obviously you've got this different tyres in there that are sliding around the road. I do seem to be able to control it a bit better though. It's seems a little bit more precise. I don't know if the size has made a lot of difference really. It's so cool, isn't it? I'm not eating anything this morning. Quick though. Oh, straight over the bumpers. Those bumper things, I mean the corner pieces, they are so good. The quality of them is amazing. I know like Japanese, you know, they make some really good stuff, don't they? But yeah, the quality of them is so amazing, I can't even pick them off the floor. They're so flat and perfectly sort of, you know. And that was a bit weird. You've got a bit of a strange... It's like it didn't respond for a second then. I mean, the radio link's on 5 gigahertz, so it's nicely away from 2.4, which the car's on. Oh, spun out. Yeah, it's got a lot of power. But the thing is, getting it down, that's the trouble. Because I think yesterday when I had it on the DJI FPV system with like, or the air, you look at it straight between the cones, that was amazing. Yeah, straight between the, not straight between the cones, what am I saying? Yeah, we had it on the air unit. It was obviously had an external LiPo, and it was a bit heavier and everything else. I'm going to go the other way this time. Oh, that seems weird. Oh, yeah, I knew that. They're so fast. So basically, like having those batteries, those 10440s in, I think, as well as giving you more voltage, which you can't really use for the speed, I think, you know, they're obviously lighter because you've only got 2 in there, and so that sort of offset of weight, you know, makes up for a bit of what you've got on the camera. And the camera's obviously on the top, so centre of gravity isn't like, you know, great. It's hanging off the top of the car, but you know, I think if you're an experienced sort of Mini Z veteran, then you'd probably maybe notice the difference. But you know, for someone like me, I can say it does feel different. It definitely feels more controllable without all that weight. I mean, you know, I've had a bit of time to practice, but oh. Whoa, you can flipping speed of it, but yeah, you can't even put it down. Go all the way around. Yeah, the quality of those things, I know they're only like, you know, just kind of corner markers and stuff, but they're so great. Oh. They're not moving as I hit them as well, which is pretty nice. They've got no kind of backing on or anything. Oh. I should think, I don't know, these batteries, they aren't protected, so they've got no protection on the top. The X-Star ones that I'm actually waiting to turn up, those have got protection circuits. So what I was trying to do last night was charge these with the X-Star charger, and I think that it works, but there's a danger that you'd overcharge them. You don't want to overcharge lithium ions, obviously, because if you if you stick a multimeter on the actual X-Star charger, it's showing 4.9 volts. Oh, I got a bit dizzy then. The old motion. Decided I'm going to have two sort of car setups. I'm going to have one that I want to drive like, you know, lots or line of sight. The normal sort of thing. Whoa, snaking all over the place. These tyres are probably getting a bit of cap on. Oh, sugar. You see me jump then? It's good. These corner pieces are good though, because you can sort of, you know, they don't seem to move when you hit them, obviously. But yeah, you can still see where the track is supposed to be, even though half the cones are gone. I think I might have bought the last two in the UK, those Highland set. I've seen some great tracks. Obviously, I've been looking on YouTube quite a lot. Right, let's go. Look how slow you can go. It's so cool. Oh, I knew that. I knew I was going to do something there. See, the thing is, for like, you know, I've been looking at obviously the brushless chassis and stuff like that. Depends, like if you've got, you know, because obviously brushless is going to make it go ridiculously quick. But you kind of, you can just make these things overpowered. Again, I remember all this. Oh, I got dizzy again then. I remember all of this from, like as I said, you know, yesterday, the old LiPo days, like trying to sway people into going LiPos in their cars. And they'd be like, well, they're fast enough. They don't need to be any faster. Can't go any faster for racing. And then you get into the whole like politics of like, you know, racing cars and the regulations and the BRCA and all of that. Right, we've lost our camera. So there you go. That has discharged those batteries to the point where the camera is turned off. So let's shut everything off and we'll check the voltage of those batteries. I don't really want to be keep discharging them down low, but don't know, might not have a choice. Right, so the Cadex Vista, I mean, you know, it's warm, hot. It's not, you know, so hot that it's going to melt anything. And they do get really hot. Those batteries, don't feel particularly warm to me. Motor's not even, oh, it's slightly warm. Slightly warm. Get these batteries out. These two are the ones that are charged, I believe. Right, so let's test these batteries. So 3.5 volts. So, you know, not particularly down to the end, which is not a bad thing, because if that camera cuts out before, so under load, these will be going down quite a lot more. Obviously, these will be past their can't get the thing on here. 3.5. So yeah, these will be past their plateau. So they normally lithium-ion batteries will sit on like 3.8 volts for a while for most of their discharge. So it'll kind of drop down very quick, 4.2, 3.9, probably hover around 3.8, and then when they start to discharge, they'll drop off quite quick. So I'm imagining that's what's happening with these. That's not a problem. So from the test I did with running this on just like alkalines or just nickel metal hydride batteries, 5 volts wasn't quite enough when they were at 5 volts, it wasn't quite enough to have the camera running and throttle. What would happen is the voltage would drop and the Cadex Vista would just go, no, I don't like that. The voltage is dropped too much, and then it would just disconnect. So really it's a good way of sort of saying stop running. Once the goggles lose connection, or this turns off, then it's like, all right, change the batteries. So there you go. Those will be now charged. So let's sticking them in this VCA, and we can monitor. Look, that's the thing about this. Look, I don't know if that is kind of what would happen if you put. In fact, when you put the X-Stars in, no, they don't do that. So that's kind of almost like backward powering. I don't know. Anyway, it should charge them. So we'll take our little extra power bank, plug that in. In fact, yeah, look, see, it's not doing it until you let it boot up. So we've got 9 volts going in, and we can test what's actually going into the batteries. Got nice big terminals, you can get a multimeter on. So 3.6, so that's rising pretty quickly. So they're going to charge up nicely, by the looks of things. 3.7. If you look at this, if you look at take another terminal here, another battery terminal, 4.9. So I'm presuming that if you left these batteries on there, they might overcharge horribly. So bear that in mind. I'll leave them on there for the minute, and we'll kind of see what happens. But we've got some that are actually should be charged now. These just should be the ones that I charged. These are this is 4.1. That's 3.9. 3.9 and 4.1. So that 3.9 one could be coming up a bit. Let's put that in there, and then we can. I love messing around with this stuff. I've got a feeling this might be. This particular one might have a bit of high internal resistance, because it kind of jumps up really quick, unless the current going into them is high, but it's only saying 0.6 on there across the whole lot. I love the fact that these little cars run on AAA batteries. I mean, you know, it's just so convenient.